Today in our 2013 Ram 1500, we'll be installing the Roadmaster Universal Power Diode Wiring Kit for towed vehicles, part number RM-154. To begin our install, we'll first go ahead and put the tailgate down. With our taillight down, we can see the two Torx bit fasteners that will need to be removed. Once we remove the fasteners, we'll pop the taillight out. Make it a little easier, you can get a flat bladed screwdriver, or we're going to use a plastic pry tool to get between the taillight and the body and just work it off. Next, we'll need to gain access here to the manufacturer's wiring for the running light, turn, and brake signal circuits. You can try and peel back the tape, or if you must, use a utility knife and cut the tape to gain access to the manufacturer's wiring. If you cut, be careful not to cut the wire underneath. Now, once we remove the tape, we can peel the wire loom back and expose the wires. The black will be the ground for this circuit. White and green wire will either be the running light or turn and brake signal. And then the white and orange stripe will be the other. Using a test light, we can go ahead and identify the wire. Now with the running light and turn signal on, if we get a solid signal, it'll be our running light circuit, and a flashing or blinking signal will be our turn signal circuit. So our white wire with a green stripe is for the turn signal, and the white wire with an orange stripe is our running light circuit. Now that we've identified the wiring on the passenger side, move over to the driver's side and repeat the same process. Here on the driver's side, we have a solid white wire and a white wire with a light gray stripe. So our solid white wire will be our turn signal and brake circuit, and the white wire with a light gray stripe will be the running light circuit. Now we've identified our wiring, we can go ahead and start making our connections. Now for this application, we only need a plug on one end, and since it comes pre-made with two, we'll cut one side off. I'm going to start here on the driver's side, feed my wiring up over the frame, following the manufacturer's wire over to the passenger side. Now keep in mind when routing any of your wiring, stay away from moving components to the steering or suspension or excessive heat such as the exhaust. Once I get my new 4-pole harness over to the passenger side, I'll feed it up behind the passenger side taillight assembly. To connect our new harness, we're going to use the diodes and spade terminals provided with the install kit. The two in arrows will come from the vehicle wiring harness and our new 4-pole connector. The out will go to the taillight bulb. To do that, we're going to go ahead and take the manufacturer's wiring and cut it in half. We can go ahead and strip back those 4 wires along with the new wiring harness, using the brown wire for a running light circuit and the green wire for the passenger side turn and brake signal circuit. The only wire not used here on the passenger side will be the yellow wire. We can go ahead and cut it off, so it will only be used on the driver's side. White wire will be the ground for a new 4-pole harness. Attached to the white wire will be the ring terminal provided for our ground. Now with all our connectors installed, we can go ahead and start installing the diodes. For our turn signal circuit, going out to the light is the manufacturer's white wire with a green stripe. For the towed vehicle wiring, it will be the solid green wire. We'll provide the turn and brake signal circuit for the passenger side. For the running light circuit, it's the white wire with an orange stripe. And the solid brown wire for the 4-pole harness. Next, I can take the white wire that we've already attached our ring terminal to and ground it here to the body of the vehicle. Note, I do recommend to find a location where the sheet metal doubles up for a good secure ground. We use a self-tapping screw and secure it directly to the body. Now once we have the ring terminal nice and tight, we can go ahead and clean up our install look by taping up our connection points to keep them free from dirt, dust, debris, and moisture. Secure our wiring as necessary with the zip ties provided with the install. Move back underneath as we work our way back over to the driver's side. We'll take the wiring harness and feed it up behind the driver's side taillight assembly. Now we've got access to the wire, we'll go ahead and pull it up. Now here on the driver's side, we're going to repeat the same basic process, only we will not be using the white or green wire. To separate them, I'm just going to use my utility knife to lightly cut the coating that protects the outside of the harness. Be careful that you don't cut through the insulation protecting the wires. We'll need to loop it up. Once I have the green and white wire out of the way, I'll go ahead and split the yellow and brown wire. Make sure we have enough working room with the manufacturer's wiring harness. The yellow wire lead that runs back over to the passenger side will be dead and not used. The brown wire is going to get cut in half and then spliced back together and tied into the manufacturer's wiring. Let's go ahead and make this connection first. Supplied with the install kit and the diodes is one spade connector that's larger than the rest and will be yellow just for this connection point. Then the other side of the 4-pole connection we're working with, we'll get just a blue connector. Now on the manufacturer's side, just like we did on the passenger side, we'll take our 2 wires that we're connecting to and cut them in half. We'll go ahead and strip them back and add the spade terminals. Just like we did on the passenger side, we'll go ahead and start making our connections. The white wire with the gray stripe was our running light circuit. The out arrow going to the bulb and socket. In coming from the manufacturer's wiring harness. And our brown wire from our 4-pole harness. The other 3 connections will be for the turn and brake signal circuit here for the driver's side. And that's the solid white wire. To make it a little easier to wrap up my wiring, I'm going to go ahead and get the remaining portion of the 4-pole harness out of the way by taking the plug and feeding it back down underneath the vehicle. Now, once we've made our connections, we'll again go ahead and take some black electrical tape to wrap up these connection points and secure our wiring as necessary. We're ready to reinstall the taillight assembly. Now, with all our connections made here at the back of the vehicle, we'll take the remaining portion of our harness and run it up to the front and ultimately to the base plate or center of the vehicle. Again, we'll keep in mind when routing our wires, stay away from any moving components as steering or suspension or excessive heat such as exhaust. We'll secure our wiring as we go and then cut off the excess from the zip ties to clean up our install look. And there you have it from the Roadmaster Universal Power Diode Wiring Kit for towed vehicles, part number RM-154 on our 2013 Ram 1500